Hi there. Now you'll see the top 5 best tier 10 medium tanks in World of Tanks. The main criteria in compiling the top is relevance of a tank in current random. A year ago I already did a similar video, but it's been a while since then. So I decided to update the old list. Unlike that video in which I didn't consider reward tanks like Object 907, in this video you won't see them because they simply don't deserve to be here. Well, let's begin. In the 5th place is the Polish CS63 medium tank. The main feature of this vehicle is a unique engine mechanics that makes CS63 the fastest medium tank in the game. Due to this mechanic you can be the first to take a position on any map, or, for example, to quickly move to the other flank, or to drive away from a very dangerous enemy. And though this mechanics is not ideal, and it's not always convenient to use, you can find it a lot of uses. As for the other tank characteristics, such as armor, mobility, firepower, view range, and all this is pretty well balanced. Except weak turret armor and pretty good damage per shot, which is 390. In general, it's a very nice vehicle currently, and it definitely looks interesting compared to all sorts of outdated M48 Patton and E50Ms. In the 4th place are 3 tanks. This is a Soviet 430U, and 2 Chinese, 121 and 121B. Since these 3 tanks are pretty similar to each other, I decided to put them in the same place. They all have similar characteristics, but let's take a brief look at each of them. The Object 430U is the most armored medium tank at Tier 10. It outperforms many heavy tanks in terms of armor, and its turret has no vulnerabilities as such. Even the hatches have armor of about 270mm. The Object 430U's gun has a high damage per shot, as for a medium tank, namely 440. Unfortunately, after the penultimate nerf, if I'm not mistaken, stabilization leaves much to be desired. What cannot be said about the Chinese 121? For the same damage per shot, in general the Chinese gun is much more comfortable. But the 121's armor is much worse than that of the Object 430U. In short, they are both very similar, but 121 has a bit more comfortable gun and mobility, and 430 has stronger armor. Against their background, the 121B stands out a bit. The damage per shot of its gun is not as high, and is only 390. But the damage per minute can be improved up to almost 4,000. This is very cool. Otherwise this tank is similar to 121 in almost everything. But what makes all these 3 tanks stand out, and why they take only 4th place in this list, is the meager 5-degree depression angle of the guns. In many game situations this is not enough to play comfortably. But overall, thanks to the powerful gun, these medium tanks are worthy nowadays. In the 3rd place is the favorite of many skilled players and just a beautiful tank, Leopard 1. Probably the main plus of this German is the awesome appearance. And also its gun, obviously. It's perfect in every aspect. Seriously, this is the best gun among all tier 10 medium tanks. Accuracy is 0.21 in my build. Perfect stabilization and aiming time. Damage per shot is 420, damage per minute can be improved to 3,400. Another important plus is that the average penetration of the basic shells is 278mm. That's really cool. Also worth noting is very good mobility. The top speed is 70 km per hour, though the specific power is not as good as we would like it to be. And, as you may have already guessed, the Leopard has only one disadvantage, namely total lack of armor. As a consequence, to realize full potential of this tank, you need to constantly think, play very carefully, choose positions correctly and all that. In general, the Leopard is a very interesting and strong tank, but it will definitely not suit all players. Friends, don't forget to like or dislike this video and write a comment, it will greatly help my channel to promote. In the 2nd place is the Swedish UDS 1516. You know, it always seemed to me to be some kind of weak and unserious tank. But a few months ago I bought it, and I was very surprised by how worthwhile this vehicle is. The first thing worth mentioning is the incredible combination of damage per shot to damage per minute. Look, usually in this game a tank either has high damage per shot and low damage per minute, or low damage per shot and high damage per minute. The WoT, meanwhile, has excellent as for a medium tank, 440 damage per shot, and very good damage per minute, that can be improved up to 3,700. At the same time, such gun characteristics as accuracy, stabilization and aiming time are very good. But obviously it's not without its weaknesses. The main disadvantage of the WoT's gun are rounds that have low flight speed and mediocre penetration, both basic and premium. By the way, the type of basic shells is APCR, and premium is heat. You know yourself, as this is inconvenient. Also worth noting is the interesting armor. The upper hull and turret have a very steep slope angle, due to which a ricochet often occurs. But at the same time, the lower hull has no armor at all. Overall, this is quite specific armor that only works in certain situations, and for it to work well, you have to know how to use it. Helping or hindering you in this will be the unique suspension mechanics, which allows you to slightly tilt the hull forward or backward. That would be fine, but don't forget what developers make this game, so this mechanic is implemented poorly and it's often inconvenient to use. Even in War Thunder this mechanics is implemented much better. But we have what we got. And in the first place is the Japanese STB-1, just like last year. I have already told many times about this tank, so I don't know what else I can say about it. This tank has the highest damage per minute among all tier 10 medium tanks. Also an important STB feature is its excellent 14-degree depression angle of the gun. Combined with the excellent turret armor, this allows you to dominate almost any fight on hilly terrain. Perhaps just these three factors make STB-1 the strongest medium tank in the game. Of course, this vehicle is not without weaknesses, such as weak hull armor, or pretty big hatch on the turret. Or, for example, the suspension mechanics, which was mentioned earlier. But in general, if you'll play it properly, it won't cause you much discomfort. Well, that was the top 5 best tier 10 medium tanks in 2022 according to the Russian Expert channel. Write in the comments what you think about it. Thank you for watching this video to the end. I hope you found it useful. It's time to say goodbye. Good luck to everyone, and remember, don't play World of Tanks.